It is a subject we deal with very frequently in the church, and probably a subject that we need to deal with better. And so I'm so happy to be able to talk about a new book from Reverend Tom Leighow, A Paradigm of Death. And well, Tom, I can imagine, because I know you, the amount of you poured into this book. Just for a second, tell us, how did you get to the point where you put so much effort into this?
You know, Chris, looking back about 5 years, back to 2008, I can see there were a lot of factors that really were involved in sort of pushing me into getting up and starting to write this book. But there's no question that probably the impetus to write this was the passing of my wife, Becky. It was from that event, as God led me through it, that I began to sense that God wanted His perspective on death written.
It's such a significant topic. Everyone deals with it. To write something like this, what is your hope? Because you talk about what you went through personally. What is your hope that they take away from this?
Well, you know, it really hit me after Becky's passing as I went through grief counseling through hospice. There were a group of us there who had just lost loved ones. It suddenly hit me as to how many people face death. We all face death in one way or another, but as I started to think and ponder more about it, I began to realize that man tends to look at death as the biggest tragedy that can happen in a person's life. And I began to recognize that maybe there's another aspect to this. And that's what I wanted to convey in this book. I want people to see death from a totally different perspective than we've considered it before. We've always considered it from an earthly perspective. I think this book will help us to see death through the eyes of God as it should be seen.
It's a significant book, and I think I was privileged to be able to read it, a privilege to be able to write the foreword for it, and in some very small way be connected with it. I think it's important for people going through this, but also for what I do and people who just want to have conversations. So many times we struggle with the right thing to say, and it can be clumsy, even for pastors. We struggle, we want to be careful, we want to, as much as anything else, we want to do it properly that brings glory to God. And in a lot of ways, you will help people, I think, with this book, who are going through it. And then you'll help people like me who just want information and want to be able to share information because it is an excellent book. And so I say congratulations to you.
It's never been about me. It's always been about getting the right perspective about death in the hands of so many people, because we all, as you said, we all face the death event in one way or another, and I think it's such an important topic. One person who read the book and spoke to me just recently said, this has changed my life. I never understood death before until now. This perspective I've never thought about before. And several people have bought multiple books because they want to give it out to people who are going through death events. And I hope that's what we'll accomplish.
Well, Tom, thank you for writing it. Thank you for being faithful as God led you to write it. And thank you for pouring so much time and energy into it. It is A Paradigm of Death, a significant book. I think it will impact you. I think it will impact many people you know, and I want to encourage you to pick it up. Tom, God bless you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this time.